and welcome to LPS Live Board Preview. I'm LPS Communications Director Mindy Burback.
And I'm Don Mayhew, Lincoln Board of Education member. We started this Facebook Live program to share what's happening at Lincoln Public Schools and answer your questions.
If you do have any questions during our live show, please type them into the Facebook chat and we will try to answer them as we have time.
If you drive near Northwest 48th and West Holdridge Streets, you will see that construction has been progressing rather quickly on one of our two new high schools. These two new high schools and a new elementary school are part of the $290 million bond referendum passed by Lincoln voters over a year ago. Joining us tonight to give us an update on our 10-year facility and infrastructure plan progress is Scott Wieskamp, Director of Operations. Scott, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, thanks, Don. Glad to be here.
All right, we have a packed board agenda meeting tonight with 45 different projects receiving bids, and the majority of them are for projects connected with the two new high schools. What are some of the projects that we are going to be approving bids on tonight?
So 44 of those 45 are bid scopes or packages associated with both high school projects. I believe 29 of them are related to both school sites. 11 are related to the southeast site and 4 of them are on the northwest site. When you have a CM at risk, we really break down all of those scopes from footings to foundations to flooring to steel erection to mechanical equipment and so forth. So we bid them and break them down separately and bid them separately. And so many of those are coming to the board for review and approval tonight, and it's first reading of all those tonight.
Now, you mentioned that several of the projects are for both of the high schools, and people may not know this, but where we can, in order to get purchasing efficiencies of scale, we'll try to do ordering of materials and services for both high schools at the same time. Is that correct?
Exactly. And so both high school buildings are identical. The thing that is different are the sites are different. The different acreages, the different amount of parking, the parking layouts are different. So the things that can make it economies of scale where we can combine both make a lot of sense, and we do save money pursuing those bids in that way.
I remember when we did Southwest and North Star, we used very similar designs, and we did that again this time around, which of course saves money if we're able to use the same design on both high schools.
Exactly. Time is money, and we appreciate the board actually allowing us to hire the design team and the CM at risk before the bond referendum about 6 or 8 months prior, which gave us a jump start on the project. And it actually allowed us to break ground in the spring shortly after the passing of the bond. And as we had talked about, when you have two projects of 60 million each, time is money. And we believe that we were saving in excess of $3 million by that expedited timeline.
One of the things that we sometimes talk about is how we work with a construction manager on these projects. For the folks who don't know, what is a construction manager and what do they do?
So a construction manager is a lot like a general contractor. They really coordinate the work and the efforts of all of the subcontractors. However, the process with a construction manager is you bring them on early. You bring them on during design so that they can make comments and suggestions about the design and the layout of the building, the erection of steel and so forth, to give you economies or better ways to approach the project to save money. So it really helps you meet your budget when the guaranteed maximum price, the GMP, is provided to the board or the owner for approval later on in the process. So it's kind of a guarantee that you're going to get to your suggested budget before bid day.
Now, we spent a lot of time talking about the two new high schools and the new elementary. The new construction is exciting. But when we passed the bond last year, that was actually for the most urgent needs of our overall 10-year facility and infrastructure plan. Besides the new buildings, what are some of the other projects that are being addressed by that money that's underway right now?
So as you're well aware, the day after the bond passed, we started to solicit design teams for phase 1, which was 6 projects. Not only were the high schools underway, Park Middle School indoor air quality project was part of that first phase. Scott and Lux Middle School additions were part of that. Additions at Wysong Elementary, some enhancements at Lincoln Northeast, So a lot of projects began design within 30 days of the bond passing. Many of those have now bid and are under construction. And quite frankly, on tonight's board agenda, we have recommendations for the design teams for phase 2, which is 6 more projects, including Everett Elementary School Indoor Air Quality Project, Leffler Addition, Dawes Addition, enhancements at East High and Lincoln High, and then an addition out at North Star. So we're aggressively approaching all of these projects per the plan and per the schedule provided in the plan.
I remember working on the that bond project and leading up to the election, and it seemed like we spent a lot of time and did a lot of work trying to ask our community the best question possible. They passed the bond on a 2-to-1 margin, and I remember at the time, later that night and the very next day, you saying, "Okay, now the work really begins." And it doesn't seem like there was much time in between all that work getting ready, and then it passed, and then we were right at work getting ready to make it happen.
Yep, true statement. And again, hats off to the board, hats off to our community for supporting and allowing us to do work before the bond. But we always kind of tell our team the day after the bond issue, you're really marketing for the next bond issue because we have to perform. We have to save money, stay on time, stay on budget, do a good job with taxpayer dollars. And so we have been. Our team has been working really hard. I'm very proud of what they do and what they've accomplished. And hopefully we'll have a successful $290 million investment over the course of the next few years.
I know we will. And thank you, Scott, so much for your work and also to your staff. I know you guys put in a lot of hours. And thank you for joining us today. That's all the time we have to talk about this. Be sure to join us for our regular board meeting at 6 p.m., which you can watch on our website at www.lps.org or on the LNK TV education channel. Mindy?
And our next LPS board update will air on Facebook Friday, April 9th at noon. Just a reminder, you can submit any questions that you would like answered on our Facebook page or on our website, lps.org. Just look for the blue Contact Us button. And with that, thank you for joining us.